what's going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to each and every one of you. Holy moly, I just had the banking experience from heck. It's freaking crazy. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy for sure. But in any case, oh man, this is why, yeah, this is why I don't walk on the banks. Absolutely madness. Got to check, right? Got to check from the dividend paying cash value. It's more than $5,000. Let's just say that. So now the banking world is in a flux. It's in disarray because it's more than $5,000. Oh, I mean, unbelievable. Oh yeah, then you got to wait 2 or 3 days. Oh my God! Then if you open up an account, the money that is from our bank, yeah, it's not available to you for 48 to 72 hours. We understand it's our bank, but it's not available to you because you're a new customer, even though we're the ones who wrote the check. Like the madness is unfreaking believable. Just because it's over 5,000, I mean, they went ballistic. It was complete disaster. Oh my gosh, I will say that. But anyway, guys, forgive me for the rant. This is your XRP Ripple Daily News for sure. In around 0 to 10 minutes, a lot of interesting stuff going on in the market. It is below $1 trillion, the total cryptocurrency market cap below $1 trillion. Very, very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting to see that people continue to, it's very, very interesting to see YouTubers just, this information, like I would think as a community, we would be so very familiar with misinformation from these, like for example, the Celsius, Goldman looks to buy distressed assets from Celsius or raising money, looks to be raising money, whatever it is. It's unbelievable to me, the misinformation and how it's reported. Really, really absolutely crazy stuff. But then don't report the other side of it, like Celsius paying off loans, just paid off a loan to Note through Note Financial. Celsius receiving their crypto that another crypto platform could not provide to Celsius for 7 days. It was on hold for 7 days. No reporting of that. We're reporting this other stuff. It's just amazing, especially from this community. With the deep divers that we have and with the research, the research phenoms that we have in this community. It's kind of amazing to me that the misinformation still gets reported. It's unfortunate, but that is what is going on for sure. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty damaging. And another thing I will say about, a lot of people want Celsius to report and update. The challenge with that is Celsius is, and let me make this clear, Celsius is at war. So when you're at war, you don't go around kind of spreading, your game plan publicly. It's at war. Let's not get it twisted. It's at war. And the other part of it is, unfortunately, when Celsius did get a board and did, if you will, get shareholders, then that made us not priority especially in terms of information. So if the public who are not depositors, where do you think you fit in? right? If you ain't on Celsius, why are you expecting updates? You're not on Celsius. Right? There's an order. There's an order to information. And again, there's a war going on. Okay. Right. So they're not going to be divulging their strategies for keeping you updated, you know, the non-Celsian. You ever think about that? If you're a non-Celsian, you ever think about that? So I get it. You want to demand information. You want to demand to be updated, but you're not even a Celsian. You have no right to information. You have no right to be updated. Now, the depositors who are actually on Celsius, who have actually supported the platform, they have a right to some information. Right? But shareholders have more of a right. And yeah, they did. I think with this last round, I believe, they took on, you know, some money, you know, other than Celsius, because the first two money raises were, you know, Celsius. But I think this last one was outside of the Celsians. And so now they're kind of like shareholders. And like these shareholders kind of take the priority. But just understand that there's a war going on. Like I know that you don't think it's a war going on if you're not a Celsian. I know you don't think it's a war going on. I know that, look, CNBC and MSNBC, and I know they got your ear. I know you're tuning into them. But ultimately, the bottom line is there's a war going on. I know it's, you know, you listen to Kevin O'Leary and it's just some kind of thing and it's just good for crypto and it just kind of needs to happen, right? But there's a war going on. Make no mistake about it. Just ask Voyager. Like Voyager, like a lot of people don't even understand what happened to Voyager, right? Right? I mean, that loan, that 700 million or so loan, that's significant, right? And if listen to what I would encourage you to do is listen to Darren Moore's video, his latest video, with the Economist, and talking about the banking cartel and realizing the real deal. And it's until the community, the digital asset community, wakes up to the reality that the banking community does not want you to be in crypto, that they want to take your crypto. And if you're sitting around naive, believing that just because it's on a ledger, you're good, you're mistaken. Don't do any good to have something on a ledger when the asset class does no longer exist. I just hope you get it. Yeah, but this thing, let's say the asset class happens to be able to weather the storm and remain an asset class, a new asset class. If it's handed over to the bank and to the banks, and the access to it is only through the banks, which your ledger's not doing you any good. Why don't you think they'll get rid of custodial wallets? Why don't you think they'll eventually get rid of that and force you to go through them? Like, I don't understand why people don't get the bigger picture here. If you understood the big picture, not only would you report the misinformation that's on these crypto news things, but you will report the real information, like the war, like the fact that Celsius is becoming more and more liquid every single day. If you understand the bigger picture, you will look for that information. If you understood the bigger picture, like, you know, one of the biggest things for people ultimately in crypto is being naive to the real war that's going on. I challenge you to reach out to Caitlin Long and find out the real war that's going on. Listen to Darren Moore. And watch that latest video with that economist. It's very, very interesting. It'll wake you up to the real deal. I promise you, it will wake you up to the real deal. But in any case, let me make sure that I got my my CoinGecko thing. I wanted to go over the market cap. Got erased here. Simon Dixon says something. I'll go over the market cap in just a second. Simon Dixon of the private investment firm, CEO and founder of the private investment firm Bank to the Future, says, over the last 11 years, I've built relationships with founders of all the companies in Bitcoin, Coinbase, Binance, etc. I'll be reaching out with what I believe will be a better plan for Celsius Network than TradFi. But do me a favor, tag who you want me to speak to and get them to DM me. Interesting. Get them to DM me. People keep asking me as a Bitcoin guy why I want to action a free market solution for Celsius. I'm a depositor with a small portion of my total wealth lent. It's worth tens of millions of dollars. Won't ask Simon Dixon to participate in the class action lawsuit. It's worth tens of millions of dollars. I'll be fine, whatever happens, but other people depend on those deposits. Let me see if I can't pull up this CoinGecko for you guys. I don't understand what happened there. I do want to go to the market, but you know what we say here, the market is doing what the market does. Why is my phone? All right, so look here. Here it is. The total cryptocurrency market cap is under $1 trillion. The Bitcoin dominance is at 40.8%. And again, 984 billion for the total cryptocurrency market cap. Bitcoin is at $21,073. Again, Ethereum is at $1,191. Again, and XRP is at 35.7 cents. Again. Very, 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 very interesting. Yeah, the double figure greens. Yeah, shout out to the traders, swing traders. I'm sure they're loving this volatility, the sideways movement, if you will. I'm sure they are absolutely loving that. Jeremy Hogan put this out. I think this is really what's going on here. Why is this thing really, really, really good? Chair Gensler feels his agency's grasp on power will be weakened with legislation, so he's trying to broker a deal with the CFTC before that happens. Look, the SEC has always treated the CFTC like a little, step, little step thing. I don't see that happening. I don't see why CFTC would even look to that. It's apparent. It's very, very obvious that the powers that be no longer want the SEC to have reign over this asset class. JV puts it best here. He says, translation, the bully at school has been beating up and picking on kids all year. He finally comes across someone that's not afraid of him and actually willing to fight back. The other kids see that and have joined forces against the bully. Now the bully wants to become friends. Indeed, JV. I thought this was very, very interesting, and I believe this. Don't quote me on this. I don't know if this is, maybe this is not, but this came from Esoteric XRP. The collapse of the central banking system connected to the US dollar is in a free fall. That's why, for me, this rush to the central bank digital currency is heating up. That's what it seems like to me. But now it's becoming clear to several nations, the EU superpower connected to the US dollar is collapsing as several leaders through the American deny Biden regime or regimen of support and attending invitees. Several Middle Eastern countries have cut off oil to the US, EU, and their US dollar. the United States and all its wealth and every asset is worth 193 trillion, but the US debt is 90 trillion, plus US unfunded liabilities is 169 trillion. So that equals $259 trillion debt. $259 trillion debt, 193 US wealth in all assets leaves a balance of $66 trillion. The world countries are seeing the collapse in real time, and panic is hitting everywhere. The deep state and EU is finally admitting they have no money, and the US is inside collapse, and nobody wants the USD. That's not great news. That is not great news. Apparently, this Ecuador thing is not what it appears to be here. So I'm not going to cover that. I covered Simon Dixon and the plan, and I'll remind you of, again, this is Simon Dixon of the firm Bank to the Future. I'll remind you of this again. I smell a rat in the leverage boom and deleverage crash. It ends with banks buying up crypto companies and stripping them of their assets before the CBDC rollout. Again, just want to point this out to people who keep reporting misinformation about bankruptcies. Don't get me wrong. And when I say misinformation, you know, looking to do something or looking to raise money, or Celsius hiring law firms for restructuring possibilities and bankruptcy possibilities doesn't make Celsius bankrupt. Goldman Sachs looking to raise money doesn't mean that they're raising money. Doesn't mean anything. Again, there's a war going on. There's a war going on. So I smell a rat in the leverage boom and deleverage crash. It ends with banks buying up crypto companies and stripping them of their assets before the CBDC rollout. You think that's a good thing for you? You think that's a great thing for the digital asset space? Banks buying up crypto companies and stripping them of their assets. Think that's good? And yeah, and you know, by the way, it's not your neighborhood bank or your regional bank that's buying up these crypto companies, right? It's the guys who are not on your side buying up, you know, looking to buy up these crypto companies. It's the guys who don't want you to win. I don't know how else to say it. You say you think the banks are not your friends. I mean, are they your friends? Are they looking out for you or not? Don't get me wrong, the crypto script is screwed up, doing all the things I teach investors to avoid, but I'm following the money. And again, I think it's just hugely important to understand the bigger picture. The bigger picture. And I really do believe that Tim Draper, we all saw that Tim Draper thing, but Dusty BC put this out. I'm going to share Tim Draper's video. Justin Charles Hoskinson says the Terra Luna collapse is the main reason Cardano team postponed the Vasil upgrade. It's a Vasil upgrade. That's interesting. I haven't heard Charles say that, but I believe him. It's John Deaton, and I want to share Tim Draper's video because Tim's on the inside, and he's a good guy, and he understands the bigger fight, and he understands the big picture, and he understands that the media who is owned by the banks, they want to give you a different picture, right? And the banks control the media, whether it be on TV or right, these you know, competitions or whatever between telegraphs and the coin desk of the world, whatever they are. You got to get the bigger picture, and that there's a war going on. I purchased XRP because of the underlying technology of the XRP ledger, says John Deaton. Speed costs no energy, the world's first DEX, etc. But I became more bullish when this lawsuit was filed because of how accurate Tim Draper's comments are. I love you guys, but again, You got to realize the bigger picture. Got to get
serve their clients better than JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs.
You can just hear the bankers panicking right now.
But what
feel the panic in their voices. But here's here's what always happens. The first thing that happens is they try to go, oh, it's nothing, and they did that. I mean, that's with every new industry, every new technology comes along. The powers that be, the incumbents, the status quo, all say it's nothing. Don't ignore the man behind the curtain. This is nothing. And then all of a sudden it's too big to get in there. They're going, oh my God, I got to face this thing. And then they all line up and they wrap their arms together and they say, we're not letting this happen. And then
they get together, wrap their arms together and say, we are not letting this happen. Part of that, we are not letting this happen, is we are not letting you, Mr. Retail Investor, walk away from our liquidity pool. That's what's happening. They want to continue to keep the foot on your neck and my neck. And that's the JP Morgans and the Goldman Sachs of the world. That's what I'm talking about.
And it keeps going. And then they say, okay, well, let's sue them. Or let's go get the government.
There's another thing they do. They adopt the technology. I think.
No, that's at the end.
They will adopt this technology.
No, this is the last thing they do. No, yeah, it's after.
Adopt the technology. You mean like snatch the technology up and then put it on the shelf, right?
It's after, right? It's after the press planting. They plant the press stories.
They plant the press stories. Yeah, kind of like all that misinformation, you mean, that YouTubers keep reporting.
They put out lawsuits. They create as much of a fuss as possible. They try to get their government friends involved. And then they go, oh, God, this thing's happening.
I mean, they try to get their government friends involved. Like, this is the guy who understands the big picture, right? Multi-billionaire here. This is the guy who understands the big picture, the real deal, the real fight that's taking place. And once you understand what the central banks and the commercial banks and the people who own the Federal Reserves, once you understand that big picture, let me see if I can pull it up. I was doing some homework on my dividend paying cash value policies. Let me pull this up. Where is it? I guess I better just go to Darren Moore here. Once you get that, I highly recommend you level up so that you can understand the bigger picture, because what they want is you and I warring with each other in distraction. That's what they want, right? They want you and I to get into confrontations, war with one another, join these isolated, siloed camps, war with one another in distraction, so that they can come take this asset class from you. That's what they want. And I promise you, if you think you're good because you got something on a ledger, you are mistaken. I would highly encourage those of you who don't understand quite yet the bigger picture and want to learn the bigger picture to check out this video here from Darren Moore, The Shady Dealings of the Fed Explained with John Titus. And if once you begin to kind of check stuff out like this and learn, you'll really, really get the bigger picture. I think one of the better ways to get the bigger picture is to get connected to, the billionaires of the world, right? The 1% of the 1%, like the Alice Mashinskys and the Tim Drapers, who happen to be some of the good guys, and let them educate you on the real deal. All right, guys, look, I'm going to end this. Well, let me do this. This wraps up your XRP Ripple Daily News in around 0 to 10 minutes. I am going to end my video like I end all of my videos. By the way, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring that notification bell if you'd like to get more content like this and whenever I do go live. I'm going to end this video like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it.